From Phoenix, Arizona, comes singer, songwriter, and rapper Destiny Rose the Scorpio. She's on the eve of releasing her new project entitled Empress. The lead single is already streaming. We're going to bring her in and talk to her about her musicality, her multidisciplinary artistry, and more. Let's bring her in.
Hi, Chris. How are you? It's so nice to finally meet you.
It's so good to meet you and to see you.
I'm so glad we're finally getting to connect. I'm going to turn my volume up a little bit. I love your interviews. I love your genuine energy. I'm all about energy, and I just definitely feel like this genuine energy and like love for the art and appreciation for our craft. And I just wanted to thank you before we get started for giving me an opportunity to interview with you and just to get more exposure. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you so much, Destiny Rose. It is an honor for me. I've been like completely all over your page, checking out your music. You have so many skill sets.
Yes.
Empress is going to be dropping soon. The single is out there. It's an amazing single. In the single, you showcase rapping and singing.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a great song. Talk to us about the song and the project.
Awesome. So I came up with Empress. I came up with the idea of Empress after I went through an incredible spiritual experience that was just so, I'm getting emotional just thinking about it. It was just so eye-opening, and I definitely felt like there was like a higher power that kind of made me look in the mirror and see me for me, the good and the bad, the parts of myself that I was neglecting, how I was self-sabotaging, how I wasn't really giving into the calling of being an artist and trying to ignore my gifts. And just, there was a lot of pressure on me growing up. I was like the oldest in my family, first person to go to college. I just graduated, by the way.
Congratulations. Hey,
thank you.
Getting out of college is not easy.
Yeah, tell me about it. So I'm all scrambling, trying to get everything ready to go fly out, to go graduate and everything. But I was trying to be perfect, and I was trying to be what everybody expected from me and my family, and I wasn't really seeing myself for who I was. My matriarchy, so my mother, my grandmother, my great-grandmother, all very strong women, but they were operating more out of their masculinity, and they weren't allowing themselves to be feminine and to honor themselves as a woman. So when I was growing up, I was told that I was too emotional, that I was like way too sensitive. Basically they were just calling me a crybaby, right? But when I had my spiritual experience, I kind of shifted my focus, and I realized that my sensitivity and my ability to be able to feel on a deeper level is really what gave me access to feeling music on a deeper level, and to feel it and see it as frequencies and like healing for me, and to be able to put my feelings into words and communicate, because I feel like the stuff that I rap about, a lot of people can relate to it. It's just very hard to communicate that. So after I went through my spiritual experience, I felt like I went through this whole transformation where I accepted myself and I accepted my calling as an artist, and I decided to just go like full-fledged in, and I've learned so much about myself. I used to just rap and sing in the shower all of the time, and I always felt like I wasn't good enough. But that's the way that I was dishonoring myself, as I was hiding myself before I even got a chance to really get out there, right?
Yeah.
So when I came up with Empress, when you think of an Empress, you think of this beautiful, feminine, loving, nurturing woman that has a lot of strength and power behind her. So I did a lot of just balancing my masculinity and my femininity, because as humans, in the human experience, everybody has both. We have feminine traits and we have masculine traits, and by honoring my femininity and honoring myself as a woman and seeing strength in being a woman is what really inspired me about the song. So in Empress, I rap about, I open with low vibration entities trying to steal my energy, and this is everybody. When I first dove completely into making music, oh my gosh, my family went crazy, my friends went crazy. They're like, dude, you need to get real, like you're gonna finish college, like You're the first one to graduate from college. We come from a very poor family, and there's a lot of generational trauma, but I feel like by choosing to honor myself and my calling is what's breaking the chain. And I'm speaking about a lot of healing, connecting to your roots, because I feel like the more we get to know our roots and where we come from is where we can harness our power from, you know? So when I went through my spiritual experience, I just kind of decided to dig deeper into my soul and what pulls my heartstrings. And my godmother actually introduced me to curanderismo, which is an old form of Mexican healing. It's like folk healing and folk medicine. And I just felt super connected to it. And I spoke to my grandmother about it. And I found out that my great grandmother was a curandera, and so was her husband. Right? So I get the chills saying that story because I felt super blessed. I feel like, you know, being young, and even the older generations as well, like we don't really get a chance to sit down with our grandparents and like really get to figure out why we are the way we are. So I feel super blessed for doing my homework and digging, and we feel called and channeled to things for a reason, and I want everyone to see that. And I just really want to be an artist that people can look up to, like Lauryn Hill, Erykah Badu, for example, Frida, Selena, just a very positive, like breath of fresh air role model that showcases that, yeah, I've been through a lot. I acknowledge that you've been through a lot too, but that doesn't mean that you need to destroy yourself and sabotage yourself and be hard, and just really honor yourself as like a spirit in this world. So that's a little bit of, oh well, a lot of it about Empress.
No, it's beautiful, and I think that people, when they listen to the song now with that background, you know, it kind of opens the song up. But you're also communicating your story.
Yes.
So many people have parts of that that are going to be similar,
Right.
so they're going to be able to relate to it. You know, you mentioned that in your family there's a lineage of curanderos, right? So for the people who don't know what that is, could you explain that like in an English way, you know,
Yeah.
for like what is that? Is it, you know, so I think in current medicine people might say homeopathic, but it's different than that, right?
Right. It's a blend of homeopathic and like holistic healing. Because back then, you know, especially in Mexico, like people were living off of the land. Like we didn't have a lot of like doctors or, you know, people out there like in the rancho or something, you know. So we basically in curanderismo we combine our ancestral like holistic healing, and it's a mix of Catholicism as well. So it's a mix of both of our cultures. And a lot of people I've noticed with the with culture in general, you know, people say that Catholicism is like a colonized religion, and you know, facts are facts. But the fact is that by denying that part of ourselves, because it's so heavy in our culture, and you know, not being, you know, proud of who you are as a whole, you're putting yourself down, because when it comes down to it, that's what you are as a whole. So oh my god, my little yin and yang nails. So like, you gotta balance, you know, you gotta honor both sides. So yeah, basically it's a mix of holistic healing. There's different forms of curanderismo too, so I guess now people would kind of refer to it as like Reiki, like, you know, energetic cleansing and stuff. But my great grandfather, um, he's the one that taught my great grandmother how to heal, and she was more working with like the babies and the women. He would work with babies too, but he would mostly do like it's like a form of physical therapy, like massaging,
Yeah.
you know, cleansing of the energy and stuff. And my great grandmother would work with babies when they would get like colic, and you know, just be like constipated. They would do like literally whole like rituals, like massages on the baby, just to like get their blood flowing, and you know, make teas out of like rose bushes, like, oh my gosh. And I'm so excited too, because I'm still learning as well, but it's just been, I've incorporated it into my daily life every day, and I feel like I'm just getting closer and closer to my ancestors and to my higher self as well.
That's awesome.
Thank you so
That's beautiful.
much. Thank
The
you.
you know, so Empress was the lead
Yes.
single off of a project. There's a broader
Yes.
project. Can you
Okay.
unpack, and whatever you're ready to release, because I know that I enjoy a lot of mystique and artists kind of like not giving it all, but whatever you're willing to share with people, I'm sure that they'd be interested in knowing, what songs are coming and what your plans
Yes,
are.
yes. Okay, so I actually have like basically like a whole catalog of music ready to drop. Like I am so ready to drop everything. I'm so excited to share with you guys. So I've been mixing. Basically, I've been mixing my bilingual abilities into my music. So I rap in English and Spanish, and one of my favorite songs in the catalog is called La Santa, and it's basically in English, it's interpreted as the saint. And what it entails is there's a lot of things going on right now, with within politics and like the Latino culture and just everything from
Yeah.
immigrants being moved back to Mexico and everything. So I see all of that and I've experienced all of that. So I'm wanting to speak on that in my project, and I do speak on it pretty heavily. I noticed that there is a language barrier with different subcultures of Latinos, so
Yeah.
that's why we don't really listen to different genres. But I want people to feel, especially people that only speak Spanish, to feel included and empowered in that as well. So I want to break that communication barrier and say my story and say what's going on in the world in English and Spanish, because we're very powerful and beautiful people. I think Latinos in general, and we forget that because even in history, we're not really taught our own history here in the U.S. So it's easy to feel belittled, and when your own country doesn't even really want you here, it makes you feel worse. But that's what I'm hoping to share in my catalog, is like realizing your power as a Latino, as a minority, as a person of color, um, and really harnessing that and being able to relate. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I have a lot of different genres in that project as well. I grew up with so many different influences when it comes to music, like jazz, classical. My dad was a drummer and he loves like raw instrumental music. So he would play like alternative rock or even like jazz or salsa a lot, and he would just jam out drumming to it in the house. My
Wow.
mom really loves salsa and cumbia, and she loves to dance, so that's how I learned to dance. And my grandma, she loves like boleros, like romantic Spanish music. And my stepdad, he was all about reggae, alternative rock, like Spanish rock, just very diverse. So I want to include, that's why I say I'm genre fluid.
Yeah.
I want to include all of my influences because I am very diverse and I want to share that. I want to share, you don't have to identify with a specific genre or a different style, because as humans, like, we're fluid, we go with the
Yeah.
flow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially with DJing and everything, I've learned so much more about myself as an artist, because I had never really listened to like techno or like house music religiously like that. But then I felt so inspired by this subculture, and how artistic their sets are and how there's
Yeah.
visuals. There's a lot that goes into it, and I fell in love with it. So I definitely want to incorporate well, what is incorporated in that project is a lot of like funk, groovy music, house music, hip hop. I want to do reggae as well. I'm adding reggae in there, and yeah. So yeah, it's a little bit about that.
So, you mentioned specifically La Santa and how that's going to be bilingual. And then we're familiar with Empress and you're rapping and singing on it. And
Mhm,
it's a really dope track.
mhm.
So, are you planning on doing like single releases, or are you going to do like, like the project? Is the project going to drop? Have you thought about the strategy on the rollout?
So with the strategy on the rollout, right now I feel like I'm so excited to just put all my music out there. I think what I want to do, what I'm hoping to do is to post everything like a project, because I already have so much other opportunities where I'm connecting with artists who've been networking and they want to work on projects as well. And so I just want to hurry up and release all the stuff that I've been basically keeping hidden for years, because I've done music since I was like a baby, like 3 years old. I was singing, I was making poems, and I basically have been doing this my whole life and perfecting my craft, and I've just been waiting on the moment to release it. And I feel like now I'm ready for the world to hear and to know who I am.
That's awesome. Is the
Thank you so
project going to be called Empress?
No, so Empress with the single, there's a funny story about that song. That's not the first song that I've written, but that was the song where I felt very confident and like I have to put this out right now.
Yeah,
Like I
because
don't
it's
care.
dope. You
Thank
knew
you.
it. You knew you had one. You're like, this is the one.
Yeah, it's so crazy because my best friend made the beat and we've been making music together for like 10 plus years, but we've always just kind of like jammed together for the love of jamming. And like that was his first beat that he ever made, and he was going to delete it, and I was like, no, like give it to me, I can make something out of it. And that night I made Empress, and I called him on the phone and I rapped it for him on the phone, and he was like, I didn't think you were gonna take it that far, you know. And so what I did is I went to this thing called Writer's Block. It's like a local group out here in Phoenix where they welcome any like local artists and producers, and basically they pick 5 producers and they play a beat, and as a crowd of MCs we vote on a beat and we have 10 minutes to write and then we perform it. So this
10
was in July.
minutes?
Yes. So
Wow.
this was in July. Yeah, it's a really
That,
dope exercise.
that's really cool. Because it's kind of like a freestyle, but a little bit more structured.
Yes, exactly. So this was back in July, so last July of 2024. And I was like, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go to that thing and I'm gonna rap in front of everyone for the first time. Like I went by myself. I was the only girl, and the love and support that I got from everybody that has been doing this for years was insane. So the people that run Writer's Block, they were like, when are you dropping your music? We want to hear it. Like, you need to get on it, you know? And I was like, so I have all of my equipment, you know, here, all of my recording stuff and everything. But I'm still like learning how to record my vocals, which is crazy because they say that's the easiest thing ever. But for me, I guess my brain works differently. I don't know. I can play instruments, but when it comes to techie computer stuff, I'm like a boomer. um, so they're like, come to my house and record that, like no excuses. And a lot of people that were there at the event were there to experience recording that with me in somebody's house. And everyone listened to it, and there was like a silence at the end, and they were like, you need to post that right now. So as a birthday gift to myself, I posted it on my birthday on October 28th, 2024. And I've gotten so many opportunities just from that song, and I'm so grateful. And it was kind of scary, you know, because I've been tucked away this whole time, and I think that's honestly what inspired me to just go ahead and just post that whole project, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel, as someone who raps and also sings, is there a difference for you? Does one feel a bit more challenging than the other?
So I barely started rapping since last year. I didn't know. So I've always liked, you know, different genres, but I've been more on like the underground, from like singers to like R&B artists, and I would listen to hip hop like if I was, you know, like trying to get hyped up or something, you know.
Right? Working
When I
out.
was, yeah, so when I was little, I thought rap was so cool. But my mom, she didn't really want me to listen to that because she didn't want me getting like drawn, you know what I mean, into the wrong crowd, like how it was in her day. But I would always write poems, and I remember I wrote my first rap song on my break at work 2 years ago. I was working 12-hour graveyard shifts in school full time. I didn't have a car. Like I was so depressed and sad and mad and just miserable. And I was working like in an assembly line, like, and I just felt like I was being treated like I was being put down a lot. I was
Yeah,
being
not like a
disrespected.
human.
Yeah, like a worker, like get on the line. And that just enraged me because I'm like, I know my value, I know my worth. I don't care. I'm not ego driven, so I'm taking whatever I can as far as getting a job to support myself. But that day, oh my God, that was like my last straw. And I was on my break, just like typing all hard, just a poem. And I came home from work and I shared it with my sister, and she was like, you should rap that. So I plugged in my mic, and we were just messing around, and I rapped the whole song for her, and she was like, It was like, Destiny, you can rap. I'm like, oh my God, good. So it's definitely, I feel like one is not necessarily easier than the other. I definitely put more emphasis on singing my whole life. Um, but with unlocking like this new gift of being able to rap, I definitely feel like I can channel all of my darker emotions into that, and it gives it a lot of power, and it feels really good to release.
Yeah.
Where, so you know what I mean? I feel like
Yeah.
rap is more masculine and hard, and my singing is more feminine, and I like to balance the two. So to be able to put them together, it's just a rush. Like when I hear my music, sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, is that me rapping? It
Yeah.
feels like a whole other side comes out, and it feels really good. It's such a, it's like a meditative thing almost.
Yeah. Empress has that effect where like you
Yeah.
hear this, you know, rapping and the beat, and then it goes into melodies. And what's really interesting is that, rapping almost feels like drums.
Yes.
And you talked about how your dad was a drummer,
Yes.
and singing's more melodies. And
Yes.
you've studied violin,
Yes.
guitar, and it has, so it's really interesting how you fuse them both. But you can
Yes.
rap. You can
Thank
rap.
you. Thank you.
Hmm.
I'm so excited for you to hear my other music coming out. I'm so excited to share it. You're probably gonna be one of the first people that I share it with because
That'd be awesome.
yeah. So my yeah, I think what really helped me with that was a really good analogy. You said rapping is like drums and singing is more like melodic. I think that's why I have the style that I have, definitely because I like to hear instruments and frequencies in my music. You
Hmm.
know, there's different like categories of hip hop. Like there's more like trap and like harder stuff. But I
Yeah.
prefer to hear. I want to hear somebody's soul. Like I want to hear how you think, how you feel. I want to feel how you're feeling with the frequencies of the instruments and everything.
Yeah.
Um, I was gonna tell you something. My it got lost. I think so much that it goes in one side and out the other
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah. No problem. There's a lot to
That-
cover.
That's what
So,
I was gonna tell you. So my dad, growing up, since I was little, 3 years old, my dad would play jazz music, and he would have me listen to tempos, and then he would pick out certain
uh,
instruments and tell me like, "Can you hear that instrument?" And at first I couldn't, but over the years I was able to pick it up. So he would quiz me. We would listen to like different genres like funk, groove, soul music, a lot of like oldies and jazz, and he would say, "What's this instrument playing?" and show me the tempo. So I was being molded, you know what I mean? And then I grew up being able to play by ear. So everything that I know how to play, the guitar, the drums, the piano, it's all self-taught by
wow.
ear. Yeah, so when I posted that video of me drumming at Guitar Center, that was actually my first time ever drumming.
Are you serious?
Yes, yes. Oh my God, the
You were
manager, I was
playing,
like,
you were just playing like you were part of the band. Like you're the house
yes.
band.
So the manager was playing some like he was playing Gorillas, and I love the Gorillas, and it was a drum pattern, and I told him I was like I can play anything by ear, and he's like, well, let's put you to the test. So if I can watch and watch you play, I get a tempo of what you're doing. I can see, I look at the pattern, and then I do it until I perfect it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. That's
Thank you.
incredible talent.
Thank
And
you.
so what was the first instrument you learned to play?
The first instrument that I learned to play was, I think it was either the violin or the clarinet. So I remember being in elementary school, and I went to school in the heart of downtown Phoenix. So my music teachers were amazing. My school, there was a lot of Mexicans and a lot of blacks, and like we were like a low income kind of like school, but what was amazing is that my school really put a lot of emphasis in the arts.
Wow.
And I think that's what really inspired me to think bigger, to stop thinking out of survival and to like be a dreamer. So they would take us to the Phoenix Symphony.
Wow.
Yeah, so as a child, I grew up, like, oh, get dressed up, we're gonna go to the symphony, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I feel so lucky because my family's never experienced this before. How do I explain this to them? My music teachers were so dope. So they taught me how to play the clarinet, and then I think it was the violin next. And my teacher saw that I could pick up things from the violin very quickly. So I was a fourth grader tutoring eighth graders with the violin, and I had never played before. And then after that, my stepdad, he was a producer. He passed away 2 years ago, RIP. He's a big influence as to why I'm doing this. I feel like I'm honoring him in this way, right? He saw my musicality and he immediately started investing into that gift. And he's like, Mija, he would always tell me, Mija, you're gonna change the world, and I'm your biggest fan, you know? Wow. But back then I was more shy, you know, I felt uncomfortable in the spotlight. And after he passed away a month after I had my spiritual experience, my eye-opening experience. So I feel like everything happened for a reason. There was something definitely preparing me for that. He gave me all of his producing equipment, and he was like, I want you to make music, like I want you to put yourself out there, like you're gonna change the world. So when he passed away, I immediately honored that, and during that time I was really like, you know, into the DJ community. And within a month only of like learning how to DJ, I got my first gig, and I just felt so proud. I'm like, I'm sharing my gifts with the world. Like I went to his burial site and I left some balloons and it said, I'm sharing my gifts with the world to my #1 fan. And I just feel so supported and like loved right now. And I feel like I wish I would have done this sooner, but I feel like everything happened in divine timing, you know. But I definitely feel that love and support like from him. Everything's been smooth.
It's like when you do music things, the doors open for you.
Yes. Yes. Every time I do something that has to do with art, I'm all about the arts. I love to paint. I love doing visual arts. I love doing murals. I've been doing a lot of murals lately. Anything that has to do with the arts, culture, or music, like doors are just opening for me, and I'm just so excited for what's to come. I'm to that point where I just trust, you know, that everything's gonna happen. Everything's gonna happen gradually, and everything happens on its own timing. So right now, I'm just riding the wave.
I wanted to ask you because I noticed, you know, that you draw and you paint.
Yes.
You also have done visual work with, you know, camera work, Amaya Media,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So Empress, I think, and I don't know if this has already been done, but that's such a good song for a
Oh
visual. Have you
my
thought
gosh.
about, yeah, where is that? Because you have that mind that we're,
So you want to know something crazy? First of all, I want your opinion on the album cover. What do you think about the album cover?
it's dope. It
So
looks amazing.
I took that photo of myself in my bathroom.
Are you serious? How? How did you get
Yes.
the shadows and you're holding a
Yes.
candle? Did you put it like on a tripod?
Okay, so I have you on my ring light right now. I put my phone on my ring light and I adjusted the settings to where it was just like this perfect, almost spotlight hue, you know? And then I remember we went to, me and my partner, we went to Joann's and we got like this, all I envisioned, I was like, I want like that red theater almost background, you know, and like a spotlight. So we went to Joann's and I found this like red piece of fabric, and it was literally the last piece that they had, and they just gave me extra for free, and it was literally like the width of like my body, like just this big. So my partner like made holes in it and we hung it up on the shower. And then I put, you know, my camera on the ring light, and he was like, you know, I was like, okay, move the lighting up, you know. So he was like learning like my assistant with his flashlight.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, perfect, perfect. I'm like, give me the candle. And then he had like a vape. And I was like, give me your vape. And so I just took like a little inhale, and I don't even vape. So I was trying so hard like not to choke. And I was
But
like, all right, I'm gonna let it out.
you wanted the smoke effect.
Yes. Yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna let it out and like just press play, okay? So I took a video, I did it in slow-mo, and then I just paused it on like the perfect moments and I screenshot it. And then I edited everything by myself. So It's definitely been challenging, but I've growing up, especially coming from like a really poor household, like I've always had to work with what I've had, and that really triggered like being creative. You know,
Yeah,
sometimes it's good to be bored and to not have a lot to work with because it triggers that creativeness.
absolutely.
And
That's
I've
how
been
hip
really,
hop was born. Hip hop came
yeah,
came up from the rubble.
yes, exactly. So there's so much beauty in that, you know. And I remember when I was younger, I used to be so embarrassed. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't have the best stuff. Like, I'm scared. What if it's not good enough? And I kind of felt like my little inner child was thinking that when I was making the album art for it. But once I posted, everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, I love that," and I loved it. I'm like, dude, that's a really cool story to tell someone someday. You know, I took this
Absolutely.
in my bathroom, and I want to inspire people like that. Like, you don't have to have everything to make something
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah.
With the Amaya Media, so I have my own business. That's also something that I did. I was like, instead of working somewhere where I'm being overworked and treated like just an employee, like I want to
Mhm.
monetize off of my passions, and I want to show people that they can do the same thing, you know, because we're so caught up in this rat race matrix where that was literally designed to just keep us in this circle, 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 circle. And I feel like all it takes is for one person to be like, hey, look what I'm doing, you know, like you can do this
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
So I started Amaya Media within this last year. Everything that's been happening for me, artistically and musically, has all been within this last
That's
year.
amazing.
Um, so I've always made videos since I was little. I loved documenting, taking pictures, and everything. My best friend and I would always come up with creative photo shoots. So I love to creative direct as well. And I remember I went to like one of my first raves ever because I had never gone to a rave, but I'm so culturally curious. I'm like, I'll go anywhere by myself, you know? I fell in love with it. I'm like, dude, I wanna capture this. Like, I wanna be that girl that's like the videographer, and everyone's like, no, there's a lot of guys that do that, but there's not really a lot of girls. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, like,
I want to do that, you know?
exactly.
Yeah, so I took a video and I tagged the rave, and it ended up being this big music festival. And they were like, "We would love to contract you." And this was off of a video that I made off of my phone. Like that, they were like, "We loved your videos." So I asked to borrow my best friend's camera, and honestly, I used a mix of like my phone and my camera. From there, I started like building a portfolio from photos and videos I made in the past, and events that I go to now. And celebrity DJ from Australia, his name's Audio Freak. He came to Tempe and he was like, "Hey, I'm looking for a any videographers around," and I showed him what I can do, and he's like, "Yeah, let's work together." And it was amazing. It was really funny because when he tried to pay me, it locked both of our accounts because they thought that we were money laundering because he's like all the way in Australia.
Right, because
But
right, it's like, how are you getting money from Australia?
yes,
Because you're making
so
moves. That's why.
exactly. So it was just amazing. Like everything that I wanted to do, that I felt called to do, I feel like I kind of manifested it into my reality and definitely put the work into. I always thought that I had to like have all this job experience, but really a lot of people just have a natural gift and talent for that, you
Yeah,
know? And so a lot of things that I do, I want to use my story to inspire people, you know? Because oh my gosh, a lot of people, especially growing up, always thought that I had a very easy life. A lot of people thought that I was spoiled because I'm doing the stuff that I'm able to do, but I'm doing it on my own, and I've been doing it on my own. I've clawed myself out of like so many struggles, and I know a lot of people are in that same situation, but I want to inspire them to look beyond getting out of the hole. What are you gonna do when you get out of the hole? You know, do
yeah,
things now that can get you to that place. Like picture yourself doing all these things, you
that's
know?
that's good. So after Empress, what's the next song that's gonna drop? What's the next thing that people can expect from you? Have you decided? Because you've got things ready to go.
Yeah, I think definitely I would like to put that catalog that I have into like an album and drop
Yeah,
that. And you know what? I think that it would be a cool thing to call it the project La Santa
yeah,
and start it out with the song La Santa, right?
yeah.
And I'm learning a lot about the music industry and the business side of it as I go. I've just been going a lot through like making my moves based off of instinct and just
Yeah.
trying to think artistically. But what do you think I should do? Do you think I should just put out the whole catalog, or what do you think?
How many songs is it?
There's about 6.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like, do it, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think that that's a strong EP, you
Mhm.
know, and you have the talent to do the cover. And nowadays with things like DistroKid and Canva,
Yes.
there's no limits. You know, you can do it, you can release it, and
Mhm.
it's gonna release you. It's gonna release you to help you like move on to the next project instead of having
Mhm.
this project that's like, you know, you gotta release it. You have
Yeah.
to release it. And what are you gonna do? Release it like 20 songs from now?
I know,
Now's the time, and
right?
then you use that as the stepping stone for your next one. And there's so much talent in Phoenix.
Yes.
You performed at the Trill Hip Hop Shop.
Hmm.
Everybody goes through there, not only just in Phoenix. Everybody in hip hop, when
Wow.
they come through Phoenix, they go to Trill. You
You know
got
what? I just saw that.
yeah,
I didn't even know that at
yeah,
first. I was just, excited to, get to perform at this like dope hip hop shop and like record store. And then I saw like a lot of artists around the whole country were going there. So I was like, wow, like Reverie, I saw her sticker on there too. There
yeah.
was a lot of female MCs and a lot of male MCs as well. But I was just shocked. I was like, wow, I didn't even know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Trill's amazing, and there's a lot of talent in Phoenix. A lot of like I know a lot about hip hop, and there's a lot of producers and MCs and studios there.
Definitely.
So you're well on your way, but you probably need that stepping stone, you know?
Definitely, definitely. And that's something that I was a little bit afraid of because I was like, I don't want people to think that I just a little one hit wonder and that's it and that I can't do more. This I'm very diverse and I want to showcase that, especially in the next project that I have coming up. So I'm just super excited to like share more of myself with everybody and yeah, I'm very excited. I'm super excited.
No, that's amazing. I think 2025 is going to be the year where like everything just opens up for you, you
Yes,
know?
thank you so
Yeah,
much.
absolutely. You've got the single Empress out right now on all digital streaming platforms. You've got people eager for La Santa now
Yes,
that they are hearing about it and the other tracks.
yes.
How many of the songs on your project are English? How many Spanish? How many bilingual?
Almost all of them are bilingual except for 2. The one that's more of like a soulful kind of like groove song is all English, but it's definitely you can feel the culture in it for sure. And I'm just super excited. I'll be creative directing all of my visuals. Some of the visuals that I'll have will be stuff that I make. That I recently just got in touch with a really dope photographer and videographer, and our energy just matches really well. And he's really open to collaborating and basically letting me creative direct, which I really like, because there's a certain image and a certain thing that I want to keep to my brand. And I feel like I'm pretty confident that he can capture that. But I'm really excited to add that, though, now that I think about that, like creative directed by Destiny Rose the Scorpio.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then one question for, the people who are going to be curious about it. Destiny Rose, and then why did you add the Scorpio? To let people know that Scorpio energy's there?
Yes. So I'm a Scorpio. I was born in October 28th. And I feel like I didn't add Scorpio just because, that's the sign that I am, but I feel like my whole life reflects the life path of a Scorpio. Like the Scorpio is the zodiac sign of death and rebirth, transformation. Like we're constantly growing and building and breaking down, but we come out of the ashes like the
Yeah.
phoenix. You know what I mean? Um, when I remember when I was 17, there was a guy on the side of the road, like accepting tips with his typewriter to make poems, and he said he wanted to write a poem about my name, and he was like, "Destiny Rose, like you're a Scorpio in the valley, And he's like, "What's your last name?" So my last name is Amaya, and it translates to Heavenly Valley and Night Rain. So Destiny Rose from the Heavenly Valley. And I really wanted to capture that I'm from Arizona. There's not a lot of people that are, you know, known yet from Phoenix,
Yeah.
Arizona. I remember when I was little and people would be like, Oh yeah, well they're from a whack state. Like nobody knows about that state. Well, I want to show that there is a lot of talent and culture in Arizona, and I'm hoping to be one of the first bilingual rappers and singer songwriters and instrumentalists to break that chain so Arizona can get some recognition
Yeah,
for
no,
sure.
that's awesome. And the other thing I wanted to ask you
Yeah.
about was, you mentioned that one of your good friends produced Empress. Talk to us about the production on this project. You produce, you make beats, you're a
Yes.
DJ, you play instruments, so there's, that live instrumentation
Mhm.
aspect. Talk to us about the production of this project and where you hope to go with production, in the future.
So, so the production of this upcoming project, are you talking about Empress or are you talking about the next project I have coming up?
Let's talk about all of it. Talk to us
Okay,
about
all of
who you're working with for production and how that's come
um
together.
so with producers, I have a ear for like a specific style that I want. I learned that being picky is good, especially when you want to have a certain visual and vibe to your brand. And I'm all about my energy and what I want to portray. So I'm getting to know a lot of different producers out there. Unfortunately, the producers that I really really like would love to work with, they're kind of like all over the place, you know what I mean, throughout the country. But I'm still kind of looking. I found a couple of local producers here that I'm really excited to work with, and they're also into, they play instruments as well, so they can hear what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Whereas somebody that just, let's say, for example, like comparing my style with like a trap artist, like they would want more of like the bass and like the hard stuff. I feel like I can mix both, but I definitely want to work with people that can be open to like using raw live instrumentation and everything. Um, I kind of want to bring like that old school feeling of music back to
Yeah.
where you can hear it and it feels organic.
Yeah, not digital.
Yes, yeah, I'm all about like organic sound. So with I have a song coming up that I'm kind of tempted to drop just in between the time from now until I drop the next catalog, and it's like very like it sounds like kind of like Chicago stepping music, kind of like a mix of like house and like soul, and I'm so excited for that. I already have a visual. We're gonna go to this place downtown called Walter Studios, and it's so dope there. That was the place that I had my first DJ set, and the floor lights up and it's blue, and then there's like lights hanging from the ceiling, so it's very like disco vibes. So I'm super excited to record it there. But as far as future production, I know what I want to hear, and I know that I can produce what I want to hear. So I'm challenging myself for my upcoming projects to produce my own beats.
Yeah.
And I really want to come out with a whole album where I produce all of my own beats or collab with other producers as well. My stepdad left me everything that he owned for music production, and he's always wanted this for me. And I'm just ready to take that next step to call myself a producer and to put myself out there fully with production, singing, songwriting, rapping. Yep.
That's awesome. That's
Thank
awesome.
you so much.
Destiny Rose, as we start to wrap up, are there any gems of knowledge, any, words that you want to leave people with? Because you have such an inspiring story.
Thank you so much. Um, um, I have so much that I could say, but I think one of the gems that I want to drop is, hmm, knowledge is key, and you want to continuously learn about yourself. Like, don't cap yourself at a certain age. Don't cap your ideas of possibilities at a certain age. It doesn't matter your financial background. It doesn't matter what kind of family you come from. It doesn't matter if your family doesn't support you at all. Like, you know what your calling is, and I promise you, if you just listen to that calling and you give in and let go, and you stop operating out of your ego, doors are just gonna open for you. Doors are just going to open for you. Like, I didn't have the best support system when it came to my family. I lived with my grandparents until I was 7, and then I lived with just my mother, and my mother and my father were separated since I was 2. So I grew up around a lot of like domestic violence and just like not a lot of really good role models. So what helped me was wanting to be the change, wanting to be the one to step up to break that chain. And I remember when I was younger, a lot of people would tell me, because Spanish was my first language, but a lot of people would tell me, "You sound like a white girl. Like, why are you trying to be something you're not?" And I'm like, "I'm not. I'm intellectual. I love to learn. Like, I want to grow. You know."
Yeah.
Take that time. Solitude is amazing. Sometimes you need to put yourself in solitude so you can really know who you are and stop hearing everybody else's opinions, just so you can show off yourself authentically. And when you do that, you create so much more connection, so many more opportunities, because you're showing you being unique, your unique traits and everything. So I just want everyone to know that it doesn't matter like the lifestyle that they were born into. It's like, what are you gonna do about it? Like, this is your garden. I don't want to see you garden, and I want to see you bloom.
That's amazing. You're gonna inspire so many people. I
Thank
can't
you.
wait
I
to
know I'm
hear.
about to cry. I'm
I
like, I
know
want to
you're
hug
gonna make
everybody.
everybody cry. It's been an honor to have you on the Cristopolis Show. I'm cheering
Thank you.
for you. I look forward to building with you in the
Thank
future, and I can't wait to
you.
hear everything you're gonna do
Oh
this
my
year and
God.
moving forward.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you everybody that's in here for tuning in. And I'm so excited to share more of myself and my music with everybody. So thank you so
Awesome.
much, Chris. It's
Yeah,
been a pleasure.
yeah. Thank you so much. Talk to you
Thank
soon.
you.
Peace.
Alrighty, sounds good. Peace.